What is up, YouTube? It's the Uncouth Truth. I've got a hot new take for you today. I'm going to be discussing the Streamlight ProTac 2.0. This is a relatively new flashlight that just came out, weapon mounted light, whatever. And so I'm going to be discussing this a little bit and also giving it a direct comparison to the HLX, which has been around for a good long while. I really like the HLX. It served me well. It's nice and durable. It's got some flaws in it, which I'll discuss in a little bit. But let's go ahead and get into the important stuff, because I want to gloss over the stuff that may or may not be a decision-making factor for you if you plan on purchasing one of these as opposed to the HLX. So the 2.0 is claiming to have 2,000 lumens, but it also has 17,000 candela. The Streamlight HLX is 1,000 lumens, excuse me, and it has 27,000 candela. Now, candela versus lumens is that argument has been going on since forever, but ideally you do want a little bit more candela, and that is the more important standard of measure versus lumen. So how did this one perform? Because I did snap some photos and I'm going to be putting it in the screen here. The 2.0, which is this one right here, I'm going to go ahead and put it right there, does a really good job of flooding the entire immediate area with light. I really like that about it. It does a much better job than the HLX does. How much better? Well, you be the judge. I'll put them side by side here in just a second. The problem that I see though with it is that it just does not have enough throw. Now, ideally your beam pattern, you want a nice solid white hot center, and that's where the 2.0 kind of fails at. In fact, comparably to the HLX actually has some more distance to it. They actually do have some measurements here. I guess the throw for the 2.0 is 262 meters, and the HLX is 330, both of them on high settings. So this right here is going to be the HLX. Now, where I took this picture from is almost exactly 50 yards from where I'm standing to the bushes that you can see almost directly in the center, and then behind that you'll see a tree. And where I noticed was that on the 2.0 it's significantly more faint right near the center, where that tree is, versus the HLX. So that's just something that may or may not swing your vote one way or the other, but important information nonetheless. Now, let's go ahead and talk about real quick, and I will drop a video in the comment section about, there was a design flaw in this. They did not put a front spring in the HLX, and what happens is whenever the weapon recoils, that battery comes off that front contact and will actually cause it to flicker. It's actually an easy way to find out if that's a problem of yours, and that's just by either A, shooting it, or B, dropping the bolt on it. And if it's flickering, then you'll know that you're having that issue. It's a relatively easy fix, and in that video I discussed how to do that. Now, I will give Streamlight credit, because it does appear that they have fixed that in this iteration of it. In this one, there are two spring-loaded contacts that make contact with this rechargeable battery. It's a USB-C battery that they have in here. And the two contacts, it's kind of strange how they did it, but in any case, you won't have that problem of flickering anytime that there's recoil like you did with the HLX. Now, one thing that I actually just found this out today, apparently they're selling the rail mount without the switch pad, apparently, because I was expecting this to come complete with the switch pad, the pressure pad along, and the plug that plugs into the back of here. Unfortunately, the one that I bought did not come with one, and they sell different models of rail mounts. One that includes that, which is looking back at it, runs about 150 bucks, and then this one, which is probably going to run about 115. I was kind of irritated by that, because the site that I bought it from did not denote which one that was. It just said rail mount, so I assumed that the pressure pad would be in there. But in any case, the pressure pads that mount to these are proprietary from Streamlight. They've been around for forever, so there's really no sense in wasting time talking about the pressure pad itself, other than the fact that I am annoyed at the fact that Streamlight pressure pads are so big. They take up entirely too much rail space, and realistically, they need to redesign the damn thing and make it about the size of a mod button. And while I'm on the topic of that, I really see no logical reason whatsoever to have the function of strobe. Unless you are stranded on a deserted island flagging for help, strobe is as likely to fuck up your vision as it is the vision of whatever bad guys happen to be on the other end of your gun. But in any case, that's an entirely different subject. Sorry, I gotta stare at my cheat sheet here to make sure that I don't miss anything. Are these two tail caps compatible? No, they are not. This one right here will not fit on this one. So for those of you who are thinking that, oh, well, maybe I can just buy the tail cap for this one, put it on my HLX, that's not gonna work. HLX, let's see, HLX runtime on high is 1 hour and 15 minutes. This one does actually give you a little bit more runtime. This one is 2.5 hours of runtime on high. So nice little improvement there, but then again, you also got a much bigger battery and also a much bigger light. Now let's talk about one thing that I do not like, and the way this thing, and it's the way that this is recharged. So you have to pull this, basically the sleeve down here, and you'll see a little O-ring, and then you've got a charging port where you put your charger directly into the battery. And this right here is basically a little slot cut out, and you plug it directly into the battery in order to recharge it. The reason that I don't like this is because, yeah, sure, maybe it's waterproof, but as you well know, people with guns or with lights on their guns happen to bump their lights into all kinds of different shit. Things get knocked loose, it happens all the time, and using a little foresight here, if this gets knocked loose just slightly, I mean, even just that much, you're gonna start to have water that's gonna be able to make its way into there, and it may just be bumped off just enough for you not to notice that red O-ring if you're looking at it from this direction. There's just ideal. I mean, it would have been all right if they'd have made it screw in. That would have been cool, but the fact that this basically just slides up and down is a problem in my opinion, because you really need to have, in order to have this this thing completely waterproof, you want to make sure that any entrances in there are screwed on, not just, you know, being able to slide up and down like that. That just doesn't make any sense to me. But in any case, that's just me thinking out loud. All right, what else have I got here? See, pressure switches. Yeah, the HLX here, you can swap this out for a narrow socket, which runs about 40 bucks. And that also resolves the issue of flickering in your light. And then you could put a mod button or anything like that you want on there. This one right here, though, is only compatible with the Streamlight, their proprietary plug. So there's really no other options than to use Streamlight's switch mount on here. So anyway, to be quite honest with you, if I had to do it over again, and if I had to recommend which of these to go with, to be quite honest with you, I'd tell you to just go with the HLX. This one right here, it's the 2.0, so to speak, but I just don't, the juice just doesn't really seem worth the squeeze. I'm not really impressed with, especially the design of this. I'm not really impressed with the amount of throw that it comes with. Also, I really don't like the fact that this right here, you can use rechargeable 18650s, and it's dual fuel, so CR123s stacked in there will work. This right here only uses one specific battery for it. I really would have liked the option to have all those extra batteries, because otherwise you're just going to have to buy more of this same identical battery. In any case, those are my thoughts on it. If you are on the fence about it, my recommendation was just to stick with the HLX. I feel like you get more bang for your buck, and once you start spending over 150 bucks, you're kind of leaning into Scout Light territory, and it would just make sense, if you're going to go that far, might as well go a little bit further and just get a Scout. So I hope you find this video informative, and if you have any other questions, anything that I missed, and I probably did, just let me know in the comments. I'm pretty good about giving a good response, and I'll give you the best answer that I can. Y'all have a good night.